Check that piece of automotive history out. I mean, one of the most iconic Bond vehicles, one of the most iconic, you know, Italian job vehicles, and it's the epitome of British finesse.
Didn't reach reserve, man.
Well, that's
And don't forget, in this country they drive on the wrong side of the bloody road.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Look at the beautiful stars, I wanna drive a faster car.
Remember guys, we're releasing an episode every single Wednesday. So please subscribe and click on that bell icon to get alerts that will remind you to watch Make or Break.
Later on, I'll be giving you more tips on buying and selling cars. This week, I'll be explaining how a little piece of metal can be a buyer's best friend, especially with older classics.
Before all that, I'm going to take you back to pre-COVID times. No silly face masks worn in this episode, I can assure you. This was back in February 2019 when I put up for sale a very special one-of-a-kind Mini for auction at the London Classic Car Show. We think you'll like this video because it goes a long way into giving you an insight in just how wild and unpredictable my life as a car salesman and car dealer has become. As usual, there'll be lots of cool cars everywhere. These wonderful shots of stunning classic cars are from the 2021 London Classic Car Show, held in July, mostly in the open air, at Syon Park in West London. It was in the open air to be safer from COVID, of course. But the long-time home of this wonderful event was in East London at the Excel Centre, in what used to be the old Docklands area. As usual, there was plenty to stare at. Lots of amazing vehicles, all polished up to within an inch of their lives. Well, almost all. Some vehicles were exotic and had been gawped at their entire life, whereas others were ordinary, everyday motors that were now classics, simply because there are hardly any on the roads anymore. Let me hand over to a slightly more nervous, more apprehensive me from 2019. Oh, what a handsome chap I was back then. We're a little bit scared, a little bit on the edge here, but you know, with Brexit looming, what better way to, you know, celebrate your nationalism by buying one of the most iconic cars in the world, you know, 1978 Mini, but you know, a full Union Jack. This car was built in 1978 for the 20-year anniversary of Mini, and obviously this year is also now the 60-year anniversary of Mini, so 40 years old. It's looking pretty good. And I know it's a cliche to say, but you know, this car left the factory like this. This has not been painted aftermarket. This is a one of one in the world, left the factory as a Union Jack car. It was sold at Henley's car dealership in London, and this was actually sold to a one lady owner for its whole life. We have really worked hard just to show off how well this car has survived. It's at the Coys auction, and hopefully it'll go through and hopefully it'll make us some money. Only time will tell. The car had been sitting inside a BMW dealership for a few years when I bought it. It had been used to bait and drag potential customers into the showroom, but it needed a lot of love and attention that the dealership wasn't interested in providing. So that's where I stepped in after being alerted to the car by my automotive photographer and good friend Nick Williams. Nick took these stunning pictures of the car after we'd improved it no end. He really has an amazing eye. But the real reason I wanted it to be at this classic car show in 2019 was because I knew the people behind the show would be celebrating 60 years of Mini. As they were doing that, I knew it was a safe bet that there were going to be plenty of Minis on display, and I figured that it would attract plenty of Mini enthusiasts to the show who would obviously be predisposed to consider bidding on my very special one-of-one Mini. Some people say this car changed the world.
You know, if you think 60 years of Mini, right? This car was built in 1959, right? We're sat next to some of the most expensive cars in the world, and just look at it. It's still a piece of finesse. It's a piece of style. It's a piece of engineering that basically changed the world and the car market forever.
Definitely any Mini carries with it an amazing sporting and movie pedigree that most vehicles will never achieve, but I was especially proud of the improvements we have added to this little gem.
There's a couple of little parts on here that we've added to the vehicle. So we've got the Cooper S style wheels. I mean, there's an aluminium 10-inch rim. I mean, they're a really, really pretty little wheel, and it's, you know, it replicates the 10-inch steel wheel, but being aluminium's a lot nicer. It gives it that finesse to go with the white colour of the car. We've also put the Mark 1 bumpers on it. I know some people are saying, why would you put the overriders and the Mark 1 style bumpers on it? I just think it makes it more iconic, more British, and kind of gets it in that sort of 50s, 60s feel, like the Cooper S that's just sat over there. As an added extra back in 1978, the lovely lady that purchased the car asked for a couple of extras. She had a stereo fitted with a one-piece speaker, which is hidden right under the parcel shelf here, which is completely factory. And also in the back window here, what you can see is the original number plates that it left the factory with. They're an aluminium pressed number plate with riveted, you know, plastic numbers and letters. And that was an added extra. I think it cost £24 back in the day, back in 1978. You can imagine that was quite a few pennies, but not as expensive as the ones I had to pay to replicate them. So basically these were from UK plates, and we even replicated the little Henley's logos on the number plates just to sort of give it that finesse.
Judging by many people who showed a great interest in my Mini, I figured I would get lots of Mini fans bidding on the amazing car, and when you get lots of people bidding, you get steep bidding prices, which hopefully meant I would be cashing in big time. So I relaxed a little and took a look at the stunning classics all around me.
What we got here, guys, is a tribute to the Italian job. You got the bus, you know, they hanging off the cliff, you know, cliffhanger, woo. Got the selection of the Minis. I mean, all Mark 1 Cooper S's, and seriously, over here is the one bit that gets me excited. So if you remember in the movie, there's a big digger, and it pushes down on the roof of the Aston Martin and pushes it off the hill. Well, this is apparently the original Aston Martin that went over the hill, but we all know that was a Lancia in a body kit that went over the hill. But check that piece of automotive history out. I mean, one of the most iconic Bond vehicles, one of the most iconic, you know, Italian job vehicles, and it's the epitome of British finesse. That's where the money is back in the 50s, 60s and 70s, man. Aston Martin had it. Let's have a little look around. E-Type Jaguar convertible drop head. Oh my God. And there's a freaking Lamborghini Miura in orange. So I would, if I ever had one, I mean, I have 2 or 3 of them. I'd like a green one, really, guys. Just a green one. So over here, a good friend of mine, Derek Drinkwater, built this van, I believe. So someone's going to quote me and tell me I'm wrong. This is actually a catering vehicle as well. And it's the hoist truck from the Italian job. Derek's eye for finesse is just amazing. How cool is that? Let's go and have a look round.
And don't forget, in this country they drive on the wrong side of the bloody road.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off, right?
Correct.
How you doing, man? You
All
all
right,
right?
mate, yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, good. So what are you doing here, if you don't mind me
Well,
asking?
I'm from Cash in the Attic, BBC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I do a collectibles show for Granada.
How cool is that?
So I made a new friend, and then I bumped into an old one.
I just want to show you over a good friend of mine, Ian Cook. You know, he's renowned as being one of the best artists for, you know, basically making art with remote control cars. And I mean, it doesn't really get cooler than that. He uses remote control cars, he uses push-along cars, and what he does, you know, is unbelievable. The work is flawless. He truly is an individual with so much class. I mean, just look at the way he lays his stuff down. He knows exactly how he wants it to look. He knows exactly how it should be, and it always turns out so well. I mean, Ian, he's gone popvancolor.com, and basically he's done artwork for the Goodwood House, I believe. He's done artwork or at Goodwood. He's also done work for Nankang Tyres, and he did one of the most amazing pictures for when the SEMA movie came out. This guy truly is an artist. Drifting Range Rovers. making art form. I mean, does it get cooler than that? I mean, you know, life is good if you've got to play remote controls of cars every day and get paid for it, right? You know, when you get him to do a commission for you and paint a painting, you're not only buying a picture of your vehicle, you can put it down as a business loss, you know, whatever you want, marketing, whatever. And these pieces of artwork are going up every year in value, and it's an investment. I mean, his stuff is so renowned all around the world now that it's really starting to become he's the next Banksy or Picasso, you know. He's sort of, in 50 years time, these art forms are going to be worth a lot of money.
These episodes are brought to you by the amazing guys at Avalon Kings. I was fortunate enough to meet Dave from Avalon Kings a few years ago when I was filming with another legend, Ed Bolian from VINwiki.
You know, we went and saw Ian earlier at Pop Bang Colour, and Brand Events, who put on the Classic Motor Show here in London, basically commissioned him to build this car. And it's kind of fitting because it's Union Jack, 60 years of Mini, and it really, really, really shows off how cool his work can be. He's made an art form out of a car, you know. Normally he paints pictures with remote control cars. In this case, he's painted a whole car in a Union Jack. But although it's awesome and although it's amazing, he's basically just copied mine, right? Fair play to him, it's awesome.
Oh, I was loving this day. I even bumped into a couple of celebrities. Well, I made friends with Lawrence from Cash in the Attic earlier, but I mean car celebrities like Quinton Wilson, and as co-anchor of Channel 5's Classic Car Show, this event was right up his street. And then I bumped into my old pal, Ed China. I first met Ed a few years back at the SEMA Show 2015, but that's a story for another time. But time was rolling on and my Magic Mini was due across the block any moment. Would all that interest convert into cash?
I think you have a gentleman there. Okay, we should start. £6,000 for the Mini? 6,000 for the Mini? Yeah? 6,000. Okay, 6,000. Thank you. And 7 now. 7. Have 6. 7. 7. Thank you. And 8 now. And 8. Is that big? That's good. And 8 we have over there. Thank you. And 9 is the next bid. We have 8.
Come on,
Take
come on.
8.5. 8.5, thank you. With you at 8.5 and 9 now. And 9
Come
is the
on.
next bid. With you at 8.5 and 9 is the next bid. 9 is the next bid, or we will move on. Are you thinking about it? Are you having a chat? We will move on.
Look at how tense I was. This was killing me.
8,750. It's a bid, I will accept it. It's with you at 8,750. Are we all done at 8,750?
Brilliant.
Going away 8,750, we're all done, I think you're out. Okay. 8,750 with you, Charlie, 8,750. Are we all done at 8,750? You're out, 8,750, your car.
Dimmery's reserve, man.
Right,
Well, that's
So, I was pretty upset. All my hard work hadn't amounted to any profit at all. I'd set the reserve just beyond what I had in the Mini. Now I was looking at a long slog on eBay to make a profit, so I needed to get that capital back in the bank account because I wasn't flush with funds by any means. So I asked the auctioneer if I could accept the highest bid despite it being less than my reserve. So basically, we sold it. I got my hammer price, I got the 87.50, no fees, nothing, we're all done and dusted. It's badass. I mean, you know what, sometimes it's good to take cash today than a promise tomorrow. And we don't have to take it home, which is cool because then it means we don't have to carry a ton of weight all the way back home. It's done. 87.50, no commission, no fees, nothing. Cool. It's good. It's a good day to be a Hard Up Garage team member.
Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car.
Before we go, I just want to flag up another aspect of car trading. Guys, these classic cars like these little Minis have been around since the 60s and the 70s. Please, please take a magnet with you. Very strange request, I hear you say, but it's very important. These cars are designed to not have filler in them. When they are made, they are pressed out of a single panel and welded together. What you'll find over the years, if a car has rust, that metal should be replaced. If not, someone will get a nice big dollop of filler and skim it over the top. bring that magnet with you. What you'll do is put a piece of cloth on the magnet so you don't damage this gentleman's car and run it along the car. It will stick very heavily in a few places. Get to where the usual rust spots are on Minis. Lower the bottom of the doors and behind the doors, around the headlights, and just use that magnet. If it doesn't fit, you know you've got a world of pain in the future. Obviously, we're on YouTube, releasing a new episode every Wednesday, but follow what we're releasing and watch everything else we're doing on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even TikTok. Guys, it's time for Make a Break to take a break. See you next time.